Georgia, this is my promise to you. I will walk with you even as I work for you. Because here is what I've learned as a pastor. You can't lead the people unless you love the people. You can't love the people unless you know the people, and you can't know the people unless you walk among the people.
That's Senator Raphael Warnock after winning his first full term to the Senate last month. Warnock also serves as the senior pastor of Atlanta's historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, the spiritual home of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which will host President Biden later this morning. Senator Warnock, thank you for being here. Welcome to This Week.
Good morning. Great to be here with you. Happy Sunday morning.
Happy Sunday morning. You're going to be with President Biden this morning. I want to ask you about the latest with this documents case. What's your take? Was the appointment of a special counsel the right move by the Justice Department?
Well, certainly. Let me say at the top that classified documents are to be taken seriously, and they are to be handled with a great deal of care, and no one is above the law. So I'm glad to see the Justice Department doing its work, and we ought to let that work proceed.
Do you think the White House knew about this back in November, even before the midterms? Do you think that they should have told us about this earlier?
I'm glad to see that the president and his administration are cooperating, and they should continue to cooperate. Nobody's above the law, and we need to get to the bottom of this so that we don't see this kind of thing happen again.
But should they have told us about it in November? I mean, there's some Republicans are alleging cover-up. Even some Democrats have expressed some concern.
Well, look, the Justice Department is engaged in the investigation, and that's one of the questions that I think they will explore, and I don't want to get in front of that investigation.
Okay, let's turn to the congressional agenda. You're elected your first full term. You've run 5 times in the last 3 years, I believe. Obviously, an incredibly divided Congress. Realistically, what can you do working with the Republicans in this Congress?
Well, listen, I came to the Congress and we were 50-50. We've got a lot of bipartisan work done. I'm the 18th most bipartisan senator in the Senate. I think that has something to do with being a pastor. You know, when you're a pastor, you have to welcome and embrace whoever comes through that door. And I look forward to getting good things done for the people of Georgia and for the American people.
So House Republicans are saying that they want something in return for raising the debt limit, that there's got to be some controls on spending in exchange for raising the debt limit. You've heard from the White House that they will not negotiate. That's the message from the White House. No negotiation on this. The Republicans just have to raise the debt limit. Is that a mistake? I mean, you just said, you were the 18th most bipartisan. You campaigned on working with Republicans. Shouldn't the White House at least be open to negotiations?
Here's the thing that we have to be careful of. We have to make sure that we don't make the work in D.C. about the politicians. The fact of the matter is we can do deficit reduction. We can deal with our national debt. But at the same time, the last thing we ought to be doing is playing chicken with the American economy. We've been through the onslaught of a very long pandemic that has created a lot of challenges for the American families. They pay their bills. I think they expect the government to pay its bills. We can do this on a bipartisan basis as we've done time and time again. But I think we lose our way when we make the issue about the politicians. I'm focused on the people of Georgia. I'm focused on farmers who are trying their best to make it work, their businesses work in this tough economy. I'm thinking about ordinary workers who deserve a livable wage. I'm thinking about those who are trying to make their lives work. And when we make it about the politicians, we lose our way.
And obviously, if there's a default, a U.S. government default, it's going to affect everybody, all the people you just mentioned.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. The people who are on the margins, who are the most vulnerable, are the ones who would suffer the most when we put the full faith and credit of the United States government in jeopardy. We shouldn't be playing chicken with the American economy. This is not a game. This is people's lives. They have given us the sacred trust of representing them at the highest levels of government. It's something I take very seriously. which is why I'm so deeply honored that the people of Georgia decided finally, after 5 elections, to give me a 6-year term, and I'm going to remain focused on them.
You waited until after your victory in the runoff to endorse President Biden, so you're on record endorsing him. If he doesn't run, is there any chance you would make a run for president? I mean, like I said, you've run 5 times in Georgia, one of the most important swing states in the past 3 years, won 5 times. Any chance you'd consider national office?
You should take a look at my life. I'm the junior United States Senator from Georgia. I continue to lead the Ebenezer Baptist Church. And I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old who I owe a trip to Disney World. I'm going to remain focused on the people of Georgia and try to get a nap.
All right. Well, that didn't sound like a no, but let me ask you finally before you go. We do have Martin Luther King Day. Obviously, you serve as the senior pastor at the Ebenezer Baptist Church, where he himself preached. I want to ask you, at the March on Washington in 1963, A. Philip Randolph called Dr. King the moral leader of our nation. Who is that now? Who's the moral leader of America now?
Well, there's a reason why we all come to this moment every year. I don't know that there's another person that we ask annually, what would they be thinking? What would they be doing in this moment? But we all ask that question when it comes to Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and holiday. Today would have been his 94th birthday. I'm struck by the fact that when you go to D.C. today and you go to the mall, you see the monuments to presidents. And among those presidents is a black man who grew up in the segregated South, who came in the 20th century to articulate the meaning of the American dream perhaps more effectively than anybody, certainly in the 20th century. And what it shows is that any one of us, if we're deeply committed, if we're driven by the North Star of our moral compass, if we center the concerns of other people rather than just ourselves, we can have an impact in a powerful way. I'm honored to serve as pastor of Ebenezer, where Dr. King served, and I'm honored to represent the President of the United States there, where he will deliver the message and where he will sit in the spiritual home of Martin Luther King Jr., Georgia's greatest son, arguably the greatest American, who reminds us that we're tied in a single garment of destiny, that this is not about Democrat and Republican, red, yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all in it together.
All right, Senator Warnock, thank you very much for joining us on This Week.
Great to be with you. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.